All right, so Boston wins 1-0 against New York. Yeah, kind of a surprising result because that's probably the first time I've seen a 1-0 win in the PWHL. I was kind of expecting New York to come back in the third period, but yeah, they couldn't. They were trying to, they were trying to. We were seeing their pressure on Boston. They got off a lot of really good shots, but to Boston's credit, they were defending really well. And of course, they have Aaron Frankel. So I came into this game a little bit late in the second period. I did catch that really confusing thing. If you saw the game, you probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I'm going to try and explain it to the as best as I can. So in Boston's end, there was, I think, a hooking call. There were probably like two penalties in Boston's end, and the officials, I think it was going to be a delayed penalties. They didn't call it at the time, and I think one of the officials they raised their arm, and that was a signal to Osborne in New York's goal that they were going to call a penalty. So Osborne, she headed towards the New York bench. But the play still continued. Like there was no whistle, no call. And Kluga, she scored. Like the net was empty and she just scored. And Boston would go up by two. Of course, this would all go to review. This would all go to review, and it was a really long review. Like if it was, I know for a fact, like if this was in soccer, the fans would boo. But I think in this case, the fans were confused. Like I was confused as well. But the officials, they would come back and say there was no goal because of the penalties beforehand. And yeah, so Boston, they went back to 1-0. And speaking of penalties, there was quite a few. um, yeah, there were a few instances where Boston would go 5v3, and I would look up and see two New York players in the box. To New York's credit, yes, late into the third period, they were on the attack. They were creating a lot of chances. They got a lot of shots off. But at the same time, Boston was defending really well. I was still really surprised how well Boston were able to hold off New York's attack, especially late into the third period. I was kind of expecting New York to score late, but Boston, they were defending really well. Erin Frankel, she was solid in goal, which is to be expected. But yeah, this was a interesting and fun game in a weird way.